Hello, PFC friends and family. Thanks for tuning in to this special podcast or video. It's an interview of me by Patty Duckworth. Patty is the interim executive minister of Mission Northwest, and Mission Northwest is where I'm going to go to work starting September 2nd. I'm still here serving PFC until August 10th, but Patty came down to Palouse to interview me and get my story and testimony to share with the Mission Northwest family, and we thought it'd be good to share with the PFC family as well. Mission Northwest is a group of churches, a family of churches really, that is in Washington, Idaho, Montana, Utah. There's one in Alaska, a couple in California. People who are trying to reach their communities with the good news of Jesus Christ and make disciples of Him. And so I've been called to be the executive minister of that organization, and this interview just helps people get to know me a bit better. And I thought it would be a good way for PFC to get to know Mission Northwest a bit better in the interview. So check it out if it interests you, and share it if you like. And at the end, I talk about the leadership tune-up. That's an event at Ross Point Camp coming up September 22nd through the 24th. I'm going to be installed officially, have a ceremony celebrating the call to be executive minister there. And so you're invited to that. You can go to missionnorthwest.org to register online. You can contact us at the church for more information. You can come just for the installation service. You can come for the whole 2-day conference. It's going to have some great material, great worship, great fellowship. September 22nd through the 24th. Really, 22nd and the 23rd are the days of the conference. So check that out. Listen to this interview or watch it on video, depending on how you're getting this. And let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.
Well, welcome, Mission Northwest family. This is a beginning of a podcast. We haven't done this before as a group, but we wanted to give you a chance to meet Corey Lahari, who's beginning in September as our new executive minister. And I'm Patty Duckworth. I've been serving you as interim executive minister for the last year or so, and a little less. And so as we get ready to make this transition, we thought you all would like to have a chance to meet in some sort of real way before September. Corey, and have a chance to hear from him. So we're giving this venue a little bit of a opportunity for you all to get some questions that you've been asking answered. So
All right.
yeah, so a lot of people have been asking me, Corey, when I go around, so who is Corey and where's he coming from?
Okay,
And tell us something about yourself, and how is it that you've come here, and
All right.
Sam.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Thank you, Patty, for coming down to Palouse. We're recording this in beautiful Palouse, Washington. And my name is Corey Lahari. People always ask how to pronounce my last name. It's like you're running from the law in a hurry, Lahari. Yeah, we've been pastoring here. I've been pastoring in Palouse for 21 years, since 2004. I'm married to my wife, Tina, and we have 3 wonderful children, a 22-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 17-year-old. So
Time flies.
time flies. Yeah, you remember them when they were young, because
I remember them before they were.
Yeah, that's true. So I've known Patty a long time, been in the region most of my life. Grew up in a church in Spokane on the north side, Emmanuel Baptist Church, and attended Ross Point Camp, wonderful Post Falls, Idaho, and then have been blessed to be a pastor in the region, and was blessed with your leadership, Charles' leadership over the years, and got to be a mentor, pastor in the LLC process. So I've been around a bit. Did my undergraduate at Whitworth in Spokane, and I did a master's degree at Eastern Baptist Theological Seminary.
Eastern then?
It was Eastern then. It is now Palmer Seminary, and back near Philadelphia. And yeah, I like to read. I like to run and walk and hike and ruck. I coach or have coached cross country and track and field, and a little bit of soccer back in the day. And been ministering in a small town context for these nearly 21 years. So really connected to the Palouse country. And that's a little bit about me, but I care deeply about the mission in the Northwest to help churches and leaders re-gospel our Northwest, or maybe gospel it for the first time, reach it with the gospel.
Right.
As you and I have talked about before, really haven't had a real revival in the Northwest, but
and this being one of the most unchurched places in the country.
Very unchurched,
and Palouse is no different.
Palouse is a wonderful community, but I'd say 75 to 80% of the community unchurched or doesn't regularly worship. Some folks might identify with Christianity but haven't been involved in a regular worshiping community in some time. And like a lot of the Northwest, maybe 2, 3, 4 generations of their family have not been a regularly participating member of a church community. And so it's a mission field, and a lot of the Northwest is a mission field. And helping equip churches and leaders to be on that mission field, trying to share the love of Jesus in word and action. I really believe in that, and it's not easy. I know that.
No,
it's a battle, but it's a battle worth fighting.
It's a lot of opportunity.
Tons.
That we need to live into. So how is it that you became a follower of Jesus, or what language would you use to describe that? I know your parents were Christians.
So raised in a Baptist church in Spokane, kind of taken to church most every Sunday, sat through a lot of sermons, maybe absorbed a little bit, had a lot of great Sunday school teachers, youth leaders, camp leaders, but it wasn't really personal for me. I had good experiences at camps particularly, but never really made a commitment, had the double life of doing whatever the parents wanted me to do, but never really fully committing to Christ, and was just kind of my own person doing what I wanted to until I went to college, did my freshman year of college in Chicago, and that's really where just my life kind of became empty at a certain point in my freshman year, and so I was basically hung over at my college desk as my testimony. I mean, it is what it is, and was learning all kinds of things that were kind of beyond me about expansion of the universe and philosophy and history and different things, and I wasn't even sure what was real anymore at a certain point, and prayed a really honest prayer out there, not the type of religious prayers I was taught growing up in Baptist churches, but prayed basically, God, are you real? And for the first time I really experienced what I truly believe was Christ speaking back to me, that he said, I am real and I am here and I will never leave you. And that same night, I looked up at my bookshelf. They had these, it was this narrow dorm room, right, where they stacked the bookshelves real high, and they had a bookshelf you had to get on your desk to get to the top shelf, and that's where I put my Bible that my mom had made me take to college, and because I figured I wasn't going to use it, right? So, but I got it down, and I opened up to the book of Matthew, and I just started reading about Jesus, and I kept reading. One thing I didn't get in that little church in Spokane was we got a lot of Bible lessons, probably Noah and the flood every year, David and Goliath every year, but just pure unadulterated Jesus. I was 18 or 19 years old at that point, and I had never just read the Gospels, and I was hooked immediately, fascinated. Like this is amazing. Like, people need to learn about this guy, and I've been going to church my whole life, and I'm not trying to knock. I mean, a lot of it was my problem, but I frankly didn't know the material and didn't know him, and so I read Matthew through a few times before I ever shifted to anything else. God led me into some great friendships with believers over there, and good worship experiences over there, and then eventually transferred to Whitworth College my sophomore year, and yeah, that led to volunteering and camping ministry and youth ministry and exploring my call and different things like that, and yeah, so but that's how my language is. I know, I was baptized as a teenager back at Spokane Church, but I don't think I felt like I really had a committed relationship with Christ until I was in college. Yeah. So when it became really real, when I really surrendered, that's how I use that language. But I think God was pursuing me the whole time, like He is for all of us. And was working through the Sunday school teachers and parents and others, and whether I could hear it. Sometimes even my brothers. Sometimes, So
cool. Yeah. So how did that turn into a call to ministry? We all want everyone to come to Jesus, but what's that next step for you?
So throughout college, I just loved learning about the scriptures and church history. So that was kind of new to me. So I got a history major and some religion minors, Christian history minor, and things like that. And I didn't quite know what I wanted to do. I got involved in working with youth at a home for troubled youth, I guess you could call it, working in mental health field on a crisis talk line with Spokane Mental Health. So I did that job for a couple years. And
while you were going to school?
Started while I was going to school, and that job kind of bridged over a little bit into after school, and then when I graduated, I worked in the group home. And so saw another side of life. I had a stable family growing up, so I was blessed in that way, and seeing that there's a lot of young people that are in difficult homes or have behavioral health challenges, mental health challenges, been abused, and sadly many then become abusers themselves.
Or neglected.
So tough stuff, and got to learn about that, be a part of that for a solid year. And I was thinking, I want to make the world a better place. I know Jesus is the way. I didn't see myself, frankly, as a pastor. I've been doing youth ministry while I was in college, young adult ministry. There was a lot of exciting young adult ministry going on at the time. But I had this image of preaching, of just talking to the same people week after week and going to hospitals and stuff. And I didn't have
sort of the Charlie Brown adult
and I thought, I want to do, I had a bad idea of the church, I think, the local church. I didn't, and I really shouldn't have, but I did. And so I thought, I want to do something more exciting than that, or more life-changing than that, or something. But God meets you where you're at, and He knows, He knows you don't know things. He knows when you're arrogant, but you don't know you are. And, so went to seminary not knowing. There's a lot more to that story that maybe I don't want to put on the internet. There's some hurts and wounds that we all get with churches and ministry and things along the way. But went to seminary really uncertain of what I wanted to do. But I did have a full ride scholarship for the MDiv program, the program to train you to be a pastor, and was in that the first year. But during that first year, literally the first week on campus at Eastern Baptist, I got a job at the Seminary Bookstore, and I had never worked. Like putting a sugar addict in a candy store. So here I am in a bookstore, and thought it was an ideal situation. It's right on the campus in the same building I lived in, really. So, but then the manager quit, or got fired, kind of within the first week that the manager had hired me. And so the outside company that ran the store, they came in and they lined up the employees and interviewed them and decided who was going to be the interim manager, which I had not worked in retail. I'd done landscaping, I'd done work with youth and mental health, but and lo and behold, they picked me as to be the manager. And the semester was about to start, and there was boxes of books unpacked and all that stuff. So
in a completely different culture.
The East Coast, it was just different. We learned to love it temporarily. Made some good friends. But so we got the store up and running, and I kind of fell in love with that job of making that work, supervising the staff, developing the budget and the sales and the marketing stuff, and we had a good run. And but I did the full load MDiv that first year, and the second year when you needed to start, kind of the way Eastern did it then was like a half-time internship,
Right.
plus all your studies.
Right.
There was no way I could do a half-time internship,
No.
school, and the full-time at the bookstore, and I loved the bookstore. So I thought, well, this is my God. God is calling me to be a Christian in business, and this is going so well. I'll drop the scholarship and just enter a Master's of Theology program, which is what I did. And I still took as many classes as I could afford to take, and audited some of the, MDiv type classes, so I could take them on the cheap, I guess you could say. But didn't take, for example, a preaching course, because it's like, well, I'm not going to be a preacher.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm going to be in Christian business or something. And so continued that way until I finished that degree. My wife, Tina, finished her undergraduate in theology at Eastern, what was college, Eastern University now. And so basically finished up that master's degree and was headed back to Spokane, and I was thoroughly unemployable is what it came down to, because I had a BA in history and a master's in theology, specifically in American religious history.
Yep.
And thankfully Tina had a good job at Starbucks, and I was trying to set up a bookstore here. I know this is going on and on if you're listening to this, but there's a point. So while Tina was getting her health card license for Starbucks, you had to do it in person then. This is before online. She's down in the health department in Spokane, and I was walking the mean streets of West Central Spokane, not too far from Grace Baptist, if you remember that. And I happened into this house, which looked like it was a bookstore, and it was this strangely run Lutheran bookstore, and I ended up just volunteering to help them run a bookstore that they didn't quite know how to run. And that's what I've been doing for a couple, 3 years. And
that's where we met.
Yeah.
Right in there.
Yeah. So I revamped that inventory and so forth. And
we brought books to different
we
events
used to bring books to events, and even the early tune-ups for a few years. And even when I stopped doing it, I think my brother came and had big displays. And but the pastor of that church, though, he had a vision for this bookstore that was a drop-in center and a good bookstore for churches and good theology
and coffee
and things like that. But that pastor had a moral failing while I was there, and a complete, kind of eruption, breakdown.
Kind of broke apart.
And I saw that church, who really loved their pastor, love him, try to reconcile with him, try to get him help. That did not work out. It was and I saw this wounded group of believers, different denomination, but still brothers and sisters in Christ, right? And God broke my heart then for what the church could be, even though I'd seen a bad example of what a pastor shouldn't do.
Right.
God kind of put in my head, like, well, you definitely wouldn't be that bad, right? I know that's a weird thought, but he was breaking me down at points I needed to be broken down on, and you could do something, basically. You could love people and serve me, couldn't you? Asking these questions in my mind that I wasn't, because this bookstore was doing good too, so I was expecting, this is working. The plan is working. I'm supposed to, which launching a Christian bookstore is not a good way to earn a living these days. But anyway,
that wasn't then either.
it was borderline. But we were making it. And then I, in that process, got a call from you, if you remember.
I think we went to dinner at Applebee's.
Was it a?
I think so.
Okay, well, I remember the phone call first,
yeah.
which is what sticks out in my mind. And then you asked me to be an interim at what is now Christ Central in Spokane. And that was a truly calling process.
Right, which was a sister church of the one that you grew up in.
Absolutely, a sister church, not too far away, loving community of people. Though I hadn't taken a preaching course in seminary, that's where I learned to preach. Got lots of good feedback, difficult feedback, but gave an 8-minute sermon one time when I had the flu, and kind of had some people tell me you can't do that.
Yeah.
Either call out sick or do a better job. But give us the word. That's what we come for. Anyway, lots of good stories there. It was a great experience and gave me a love for the local church, or a better view of it, and got my feet wet preaching. Did my first baptisms, wedding, funerals, and then went back to the bookstore full time, but with an open heart to a call. And then within a year, maybe, of that experience, Palouse Federated Church called me up, probably because of you. So, Mission Northwest was all involved in that, in the background, getting to know me, connecting me, encouraging me. Yeah.
So your call was not just like a flash.
Definitely, I don't have that story. And that's what I've got to tell. I got to tell that long story because it wasn't the kid raising his hand at camp, though I had, camp experiences that were really cool and emotional or whatever. I never walked away from a camp or some experience going, oh, I know I'm going to be a pastor. It was a multi-stage process for me. I think it can happen.
It sounds like.
Of surrender. Of surrender and breaking down my unwillingness and misunderstanding that I had, and softening my heart towards the church and opening my brain up to what pastor is or could be. And I think I'm still learning some of that. But it connects to some of the Mission Northwest stuff that we have now, because we need people who are genuinely called, whichever way God calls them.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
I think we need people like you were for me, who are out there like, well, I think one of the first things you said to me on the phone was, I know you, what I hear is you're not wanting to be a pastor, but, but would you consider? Yes. Yeah. So we need people in our churches, in, groups like Mission Northwest, asking those questions, not just of young people, but maybe second career people, asking, do you feel the call? And it could be people who are having profound experiences, and know that, yes, now I know I'm called, or maybe it's a longer process or a story like mine. Exploring.
Yeah.
And we got to set some of those opportunities up where we give people opportunity to explore the call.
And
I think,
even
I'm
if it
excited
doesn't
about that.
work out exactly like we think it will, it's still a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we get to know which direction God's leading and then follow that.
Amen. Amen. Yeah.
So
that was a long answer to your question. Okay.
That's okay. I think everybody wants to hear your heart in
Yeah.
that and your experience. But that's that piece. And here we are in 2025, and you put your name in front of the search team for Mission Northwest's executive minister search. And how did that all
the
come
call
about?
to Mission Northwest? So
from your vantage point, what did that look like? How did that get put on your heart?
Well, first, we've loved being here in Palouse, serving with the folks of Palouse Federated, and but around year 19, sensing that there was some shifting happening in my motivations and vision, and always wanting the best for this church, and feeling like my voice was changing for the congregation. I still loved preaching, teaching, leading, but it's still hard for me to put words to it. I know I've talked to you about it before, but something was changing, feeling like who I am is not fitting what I'm doing right now. And it was really, it was really hard, because I know I'm here and I want to be here, but am I supposed to be here? And so I started to have the conversation with Tina, who was sensing some of the same things, and then with leadership, like, does this mean our time is coming to a close? I wanted to be an effective pastor for the church, and at that time we were going through a bit of a slump of reaching new people, and baptisms were down, and it wasn't just because of things like that, but there were a lot of things causing me to say, is God preparing me for something different? So we did about an intentional year ourselves, Tina and I, and then kept the board updated at monthly meetings of, and at a certain point involved the congregation, letting them know in 2024 that we are exploring whether this might be the last year, or is God going to do something new in how we do pastoral ministry here, or in myself, and renew me, change me, what is going on, and explore that. And so lots of conversations, lots of honest prayer, and really by the end of 2024, we knew, Tina and I knew that we were called to be somewhere else within, at some point in 2025, and end well with PFC. Now, if you back up, also in 2024, Charles Revis retired, and I did not see that coming. I should have, but I've been around Charles long enough. I just thought, keep on going or whatever. And so those processes were co-occurring. For the record, mine started first. Well, no, I don't know when Charles started thinking about retirement, but meaning I didn't start thinking about changing because Charles was retiring. I did not have this job in mind in the slightest.
Spirit was moving
in the
something
slightest,
else.
yeah, that I knew I needed, whether it was, I didn't
Another
know.
church,
I honestly,
another ministry.
another church, another ministry, another type of leadership. I was open to all of the above, and just knew I needed to start really discerning that. And one thing that I'd said to the church is, once I knew my time was coming to an end here, I was going to give them as much notice as possible, which we intended to do. And yeah, so when the opening came and when the search process honestly started, I had a couple people who encouraged me to apply, and thought about that, and thought, okay, well, this fits, that this is something different. I don't know if I'm qualified.
Yeah, it's very
I don't know if I'm I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm going to be selected, but it would be wrong not to put myself out there
Sort of
and
that
see.
exploring thing
Yeah,
again.
so it was, we put ourselves out there and went through the process, and we ended up here where I was selected.
Were you surprised?
I was
Is that a fair question?
Yeah, I was surprised when I had the first conversation with a mentor who said I really should apply, and I said, you don't need to name names or anything, just said, are you joking? Was and meaning it sincerely, and really thinking that that particular mentor should apply, so I was surprised at that level. I was surprised and humbled, and thankful. I do believe it's something that God has been preparing me for. Now I'm coming to terms with that. I'm excited about it. But it's nothing that that I thought about 5 years ago. I see it as such an important role to help churches and leaders do their mission well in the Northwest, and
So what excites you then?
How long of a podcast are we going to do?
Maybe first installment. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot I don't know about the job, and there's a lot about the job that's hard, and it's going to be difficult. But the healthy part that I'm excited about is really encouraging leaders, lay leaders, pastoral leaders, to do their best for Christ and their communities, to be a support of that, to resource that, develop that however we can. Educational opportunities, other development opportunities where we can come alongside them, helping them communicate their message, learning from each other, learning from other sister churches. I'm talking generally now, just excited about helping people do their mission well. And I know that I've been encouraged by coming alongside of others, learning from pastors and folks who, not just pastors, plenty of lay leaders that are great in our region that are doing mission well, whether it's in Boise or Missoula or Blackfoot or Bellingham, or and just being encouraged by those folks and learning together, serving together. So
realizing that we're not alone. That's solo
huge.
Entities out here trying to duke it out ourselves.
And I know what that feels like. And you can, as a pastor in a small community of 1,000 people, you can feel pretty isolated and alone. And so being a person that helps connect people to others, that's something that is kind of in me anyway. I like to connect people to others that I think will bless them, or resources that will bless them.
Yeah.
I love to have conversations with people, ask them what they're reading, what they're learning, what they're doing, and then sharing that with others. And so I'm excited to do that, to just be a connector, communicator, encourager, and bringing people as best I can from outside our region who have the right mission and mindset for Mission Northwest, new leaders, and help develop them, orient them, because I think we have an important mission field here. And as you were saying, we're underreached and we are not overstaffed. And I'm talking about our churches and just how many folks we need to reach. So we need to find ways to plant new churches, to equip new leaders, whether it's pastoral internships or residencies or just whatever it is. Raising up new leaders, lay leaders, men and women of God who want to reach the Northwest for Christ. And so
I've heard you say that you don't really see the vision or the mission changing. Is that a fair statement?
I think Mission Northwest, we exist to resource and develop churches that connect people to Jesus Christ. I think that's a straightforward, good mission, and our landmarks are good. Connecting to each other, which we just talked about, leadership, developing leadership, lay, pastoral, church planting, right? And why am I drawing a blank on the fourth? Is it?
I think you said them all.
Did I say them all?
Yeah.
I think I'm missing one for some reason. Okay, well, I know there's 4, but no, church renewal. All of those landmarks, renewal, planting, connecting, and leadership development are core. We may tune up some things. There's some things we're going to do as far as connecting and communicating on some platforms that maybe we're not using currently. Leadership recruiting, I'm looking at how we could do some things differently and partnering with Ascent or others where we can find ways to recruit or develop leaders in ways we haven't.
Who have a heart for the ministry here.
Who have a heart for the ministry here.
Who are missionaries at heart.
Absolutely. And, I've got a lot to learn, but I think we have the right mission and landmarks, and I want to hit the ground running, do a lot of connecting to start. I'm interested in visiting folks, so I'm going to be building out my schedule rapidly. If I'm honest, it's already starting. I'm trying to finish well here in Palouse, but it just by nature is already starting, and wanting to connect and be with people, worshiping with people, having coffee or breakfast or lunch or whatever with folks, sitting down, learning stories like we've been doing here today, getting their heart for their community, their mission field, and then start sharing stories, recording stories, starting a new podcast channel, video, sharing brief and long form where we can hear from each other, and
the practicalities of ministry.
Practicalities and just honestly inspiration too. So I'm excited about that, and some of it will just maybe benefit me to kind of give me an encyclopedia of the Northwest as I go from place to place. And it's a huge region, as you well know. So I'm not going to be able to achieve that quickly, but I want to start doing it. And some of it's going to be in person, and a lot of it's going to be over video conference or over the phone. But the lion's share of my time is going to be connecting with people. Connecting, and then a lot of prayer, and starting to strategically plan how we can do our mission together. And so I'm excited about that, and learning from you and your experiences. That's an important piece too.
Any last thing you want to share with folks that might be listening to this about the near future or your heart?
I'm excited for the tune-up, and I'm not just saying that because I'm going to be installed officially at that, but I'm excited for getting together, connecting with each other. Ross Point near the end of September, is it the 22nd through the 24th?
22nd through the 24th.
And you can get online at...
Registration's open. We're making more rooms, so don't stay away because you think it's crowded.
We will make room. It will happen. It'll be great.
Yep.
Great worship. If you haven't been to Leadership Tune-Up before, it's a great place to connect. Ross Point is a beautiful place. If you've been, I don't need to tell you all that, but
It's worth the effort to come.
yeah. So I have a sense that we're going to have really good content from the speaker, Josh Butler, great thinker, and so I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
That's coming up. But I'm excited to start on September 2nd. I am going to take a brief window of time, 3 weeks off after I finish here on August 10th, and then start for Mission Northwest on September 2nd, and then hit the ground running. So right now I'm most immediately focused on finishing well with folks in Palouse. Just a loving group of people who took us in when we were fairly young, and just it's been a wild ride here, and I'm spending some time this very week reflecting on things and making sure some things are said intentionally and shared about what God has done in this community, this church family in these last couple of decades, to affirm them and affirm what God is going to do again, or is still in the process of doing. So I really want to spend my remaining time here encouraging and blessing them, and I get to finish preaching through Paul's letter to the Philippians.
Oh, cool.
So we're in chapter 4, and I've got a few messages left. So depending on when you listen to this, it might be done. But that's what I'm excited about right now. And
good.
So I appreciate this opportunity to share some of my story and my heart, and a little bit about where God might be leading this all. And do you have any questions for me besides that, Patty? Are we good?
I think this is great introduction. Give everybody a chance to kind of know who you are, because we've had those questions. You've not had that chance to be too up front and center, so we want to make sure you get that opportunity to share your heart. To start
well,
with.
I'm definitely not hiding. I'm in Palouse if you want to find me.
Great.
You could just come and say, "Where's Pastor Corey?" and you'll probably find me. But if you do have any questions for me, you can get them through Patty, or you can get them to me. Call the region office. I'm glad to talk, and I'm glad to hit the ground running. I do want to finish well here. But excited to hit the ground running and serve the people of Mission Northwest as best I can, and I promise to do that. I will give it my level best.
Confidence you will do that.
Thank you.
So thanks for joining us. Thanks for making the time, Corey, and we will be looking forward to September.
Yes.
Lord bless you. Okay.
Thank you. Amen.
All right.